Prime Minister Justin Trudeau now, who has moved two prominent female cabinet ministers to new portfolios as part of this morning's shuffle at Rideau Hall. Jane Philpott moving from Indigenous Services to Treasury Board, which is a key economic position at the cabinet table. But Vancouver's Jody Wilson-Raybould has been bumped from the high-profile justice position to Veterans Affairs, which is generally considered to be a more minor portfolio. Montreal MP David Lametti becomes Justice Minister. Seamus O'Regan moves from the Veterans portfolio to Indigenous Services. And Bernadette Jordan takes Nova Scotia's seat at the cabinet table, becoming Minister of the new post of Rural Economic Development. Danielle Smith from Global News Radio 770 CHQR following the shuffle along this morning as well. What do you make of it, Danielle?
Well, he had to do something because Scott Brison is, of course, leaving. That is going to be an interesting sidebar story that we should watch. I mean, he said he wants to be able to spend time with his husband and his kids. He does have a couple of young kids, but I think it's probably more likely the controversy surrounding that leaked information and the subsequent prosecution of the Admiral over that shipping contract. So I think that part of what he left for was to no longer be a distraction, since all of that is going to be coming to court in September. But whenever these shuffles happen, you kind of have to look at who's the winner and who's the loser on here. So I'm going to speak with Tim Powers today, who's a political analyst, to find out why it is that Seamus O'Regan continues to get promotions against any evidence that he has any competence whatsoever. I mean, remember, he was the person who was in the crosshairs because he went on that controversial trip to the Aga Khan's Island that even Justin Trudeau ended up getting chastised for from the ethics commissioner. And then he had a huge gaffe in Veterans Affairs by suggesting that somehow his leaving and the trauma he suffered from leaving the media was anything like what veterans were suffering with PTSD coming back from the war. You can only imagine what kind of gaffes he's going to have in the Indigenous Affairs portfolio. So against all reason, it seems he continues to get promotions. And I'm a bit surprised. I mean, it seems the biggest loser out of this one is Jody Wilson-Raybould, who went to maybe to clean up the mess in Veterans Affairs. Maybe that's why. Maybe we can look at it as a positive angle, is because Seamus O'Regan left it such a mess. She had to go in and clean it up. But it does create, I think, a huge opportunity for David Lametti, who looks on paper like a really good candidate for this position. He's an expert in property and intellectual property, vitally important as we go forward with our difficult relationship with China. And we still have this real problem of having not had judges appointed to the bench, enough of them to be able to meet the principle that Jordan's law principle that has now been put into law about how quickly these cases have to be dispensed with. So we'll see whether or not there's going to be some quick action on that. But we'll get more detail from Tim Powers today.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation. Should be a good one, Danielle. Thanks for this. And of course, it is a federal election year, so we're watching this one closely.
Yeah, you bet. My pleasure.